having these goals are really, really important, because if you're just going through the motions, you're going to settle. And when you settle, you never build the momentum that you got into the industry hoping to achieve.
Hello, agentpreneurs, and welcome back to the Daily List Report. As you saw, we've got back on one of our regulars, Mike Sherrard. He's with eXp. He's based in Alberta, Canada. Well, lots of cool stuff we're going to talk about today. He's ranked in the top 30 realtors on social media worldwide, number one realtor on social media in Alberta, number one realtor social media in Calgary. He's based up in Canada, and that's going to come back in a second here, right? So he's got a lot of stuff that he's done with social media. He's got some really big dreams that he's recently fulfilled. We're going to talk about that. It's going to be a really great episode. A couple things before we get started. First is Mike's YouTube channel. All of these links are below. Definitely check it out. There's a bit of a spoiler alert on some of the screen right now, but that's okay for today's episode. It's going to be pretty cool. And also his Instagram, Mike_Sherrard. Definitely give him a follow. There's some cool stuff there. He posts a lot of amazing content. And of course, while you're here, please consider subscribing to this channel and click that little bell so you're notified of all future episodes. Okay, without further ado, let's bring Mike back on the show. Mike, welcome back to the Daily List Report.
Hey, man, super excited to be here. We had a really great chat last time, which was a pleasure. So for anybody that hasn't checked that out, definitely make sure to go back to the List Report channel. But super excited to be here, because I think this is going to be a topic that many need to hear. And I'm really excited to jam out about it.
I think so too. Thank you so much, Mike, for those kind words. I appreciate that. You know, Mike, what we're going to talk about today, and some of it was maybe revealed at the beginning there, is you had a dream, right? And I'm sure there's going to be dreams behind these dreams, right? But you had a dream, you had a vision, you had a goal, and you've recently achieved that. So why don't you talk a little bit about what that was and what you got?
Yeah, recently, I was able to make my dream come true, and it's been a really long time coming, and one that I was never quite sure of how or when it was going to come together. So ever since I was 5 years old, I had a dream of getting my very own Lamborghini. I was drawing Lamborghini Diablos back in the 90s when I was 5 years old.
I can relate.
It was this. Yeah, it was everybody had a child, poster on their wall as a kid. And, for me, being in a small town from New Brunswick on the east coast of Canada with 12,000 people, it never really seemed like a reality, but I always knew that I wanted to do it. Nobody had anything like that. And when I got into real estate, I started manifesting it. I quit my engineering job and started saying, one day I am going to achieve something like this. And one day I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I started posting about it and making it this journey that other people could follow. And it was really inspiring, because when I made my dream come true last week, where I took delivery of my custom Lamborghini, I had people sending me messages from all over the world, from India, from South Africa, from, Argentina, saying, Mike, I've followed your journey since you got your license. You've been posting about one day getting one, but it's been so inspiring to watch your journey from when you were door knocking, when you almost lost your house, almost lost your car, to the point where now you made your dream come true. So it's not only amazing for me, but it felt like a community thing where we all made it happen, which was really cool.
That's amazing, Mike. That's amazing. And that's one of look, there's the dark side of social media, right? But there's also this really beautiful side of it, where you have people who believe in you and are supporting you, and they're on the journey with you, and they feel like they're going through it. And then when you achieve that, they're there to support you. And I really love that. And I want to be clear about one thing. This isn't about the purple Lamborghini in a sense, right? Like, that is this physical manifestation of the dreams that you had. And for people watching right now, your dream may be a vacation home, or it could be, it doesn't really matter what it is, right, is the point. And so let's talk a little bit about that. And let me make one side note. Sorry, Mike. What I love, and if you watch the previous episode that we did together, and we've got that link right here, is, you are the purple realtor, right? Everything is purple. And I think you had, was it an M4? Anyways, you had a purple BMW before this, right? So this has been a part of your brand. So it's also on brand, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So you're exactly right in saying it has nothing to do with the materialistic aspect of a Lamborghini or anything like that. It's about manifesting what you want out of life. And I talk to so many agents, especially being at EXP. I have agents that are coming to me on a daily basis, and a lot of them are told by friends, by loved ones, by other agents that they're never going to do what they say they're going to do. They're never going to achieve what they want to. It's too big, it's too lofty, it's too ambitious. And they start to let other people's opinions affect their own belief in themselves. And a lot of them start believing, wow, maybe I can't actually get this. Maybe it is too far fetched. Maybe it is too lofty for me to say that I'm going to get $1 million house on the beach in California, or I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
go travel the world with my spouse, or I'm going to, pay for my kids' college, or whatever their dream happens to be. And they start to let these negative Nancy's start to affect their own dreams. And it's
Yeah.
terrible because, as you said, there's a light and a dark side to social media. And the light side is that 99% of the time that I get messages are from agents saying that I've changed their life with their social media strategies or with their business or their branding. And it's super fulfilling. But I will never ignore or deny that 1% that is absolutely atrocious. And it's these people that are saying unbelievably negative things,
Mm-hmm.
trying to taint your visions, trying to affect what you're achieving, and try and take you off course. But what you have to realize is that if you start to manifest this stuff, if you surround yourself with people that do believe in you, yeah, that stuff might affect you a little bit, but how quick can you get back on course? Right? Because as
That's right.
long as you can stay true to the vision and have people that are helping you believe that you can do it, you can make it happen, that's going to kick your belief system back into gear. But it's been a really exciting journey to see both parallels of what these negative people are saying and what the positive people are saying, and the two contrasts, which is very stark between the two. But by leaning into the people that believed in me and surrounding myself with those people and being very quick to cut out people that are negative and don't believe in me, that's been a big reason of why I've been able to, 4 years after getting my license, buy a car that's $350,000 without it making a difference in my life in terms of the
Yeah.
financial side of things. So it's something that we all get into real estate for a lifestyle or a reason. And I want to make sure that when you come into this industry and you're listening to something like this, that you understand there's other people that will believe in you and will show you that it is possible.
Absolutely. Mike, I'm here's what I'm wondering, right? Look, most of the vast majority, I would say, of people who have found success in this business have had some goal, some vision, right, for their future. It's seldom, if ever, that, hey, I'm just going to do the best I can, and I'm going to work really hard and good things will come. What do you say to an agent who's getting started in the business or whatever, really, but who doesn't have that goal, whether it's a car or a house? Again, it doesn't matter, right? What do you say to an agent like that?
I say that you need it. And the biggest thing is that you'll find yourself that I used to watch this video on a daily basis, and it's a motivational video. Maybe I'll send you the link to include in the description.
Please
But it
do.
was more so related to fitness, but the mindset and the verbal delivery of this message was so powerful, where it talked about people like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and it was saying that this exact line changed my life. The most disadvantageous thing you can do is to go through the motions. And when I
Mm-hmm.
heard that, where successful people get it right, or after they fail once, they go back and get it right the second time, that's really hit me hard. Where having these goals are really, really important, because if you're just going through the motions, you're going to settle. And when you settle, you never build the momentum that you got into the industry hoping to achieve. So for me with this car, it was much more than a childhood dream. It was much more than some materialistic item for social media. It was something to prove to myself, but also something that I could push for to always hold me accountable to going the extra mile. Where on the background of my phone, still to this day, I've got the Lamborghini. My desktop, I've got a Lamborghini. I've got models of the car. I've got posters of it. I used to go to the dealer once a month to just look at them, see it, feel it,
Huh.
touch it, go to car meets, where I consciously continue to believe that one day this is going to happen. And I see people do this with houses, where I have friends that were not making much money that used to drive around $1 million neighborhoods just to see what one day they might be able to have. And many of them are now in these neighborhoods, but it's because they were able to feel it, see it, touch it, and manifest it to believe that it's going to happen to them. And I find that the more tangible you can make your goals, even just putting yourself in that position momentarily, the more real it's going to become. And a lot of times when you have these big lofty goals coming from, where I was to where I am now, it seems so far-fetched that it's tough to grasp how you're going to bridge that gap from where you are to where you want to be. But as you start to put out these feelers and start to put yourself in the position of what it's going to be like going for a drive in your friends' cars, things like that, that's what makes it more real, more tangible, and more seemingly possible to achieve.
Well said, Mike. And you touched on my next question, which is I was going to ask you, how before you have it, how does it sort of manifest itself in your life day to day? And I think you answered the question, which is you sort of immerse yourself in this. And I love that, right? It was everywhere you looked. It was you going to the dealer or going to car meetups and things like that. And, some people might look at that and say that that sounds obsessive, but it's really not that, right? It's that this has to be sort of pervasive in your life, whatever this goal is. Is that how you think about it?
Yeah, 100%. And I think, even on that note, there's almost two sides to the words obsessive, where some people think that that's a negative thing. But if you're obsessive with a passion that's going to change the life of you and your family, I think that's a positive thing. There's many people that saw, Mike, why would you want to spend money on a car like that before you're 30? You should be doing this, you should be doing that. But knowing that this goal and this manifestation has built the momentum to the point where I will be in a position without question to give my future spouse, my future kids, the life anybody could ever dream of.
Mm-hmm.
That, I think, you're doing a disservice to yourself and your loved ones and your friends if you don't become obsessive over achieving what is going to give them the lifestyle you all ultimately dreamed of. And, this all came again from one of my mentors, Ed Milet, where he said, when he was broke back in the day, whenever he would reach a certain milestone, he would spend 2 days, he would treat himself and reward himself with 2 days at the most luxurious golf resort where he would wine, dine, and sleep in the most expensive place for only 2 days because that's all he could afford.
Yeah.
But it immersed himself in what it's going to be like when that one day will become his new reality. And I think a lot of realtors don't take a step back, or entrepreneurs in general, to feel and to treat themselves in terms of what it's going to be like when they finally make it. And because they don't do that, they never understand what that might be like, which makes it continuing to bridge that gap. So I think it's really important to set big goals, your big, hairy, audacious goals, and make sure that you're constantly reminding yourself of why. Because even though the car is a personal kind of selfish goal that I had, my bigger why is that one day when I do have a family, I want to make sure that I give them the life of a dream. And it all stems from building that momentum. So as I worked on this goal to making it become a reality, I would always revert back to my why. When I was door knocking and getting rejected, when I was door knocking in the snow, when I get these negative messages on social media, I would revert to my why, which was family. And when you can revert to your why, you're always going to push through the negativity, the barriers of the plateaus that otherwise might have held you back.
Absolutely. And I think that that's a great transition. It's like you're reading my mind, Mike, into my next question, really the answer to it, which is, there's some people who would say, okay, in this case, your goal, your dream was this purple Lamborghini. And then once you get it, you get in it and you drive it and you're like, okay, like what's next? Or it wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be. It was anticlimactic or whatever it is. But I think, and I'm putting words in your mouth so you can confirm or deny this, is that the why lives somewhere deeper than that. And because the why was the right why, it almost didn't matter what this is, and it is satisfying, and it does continue to fuel you forward.
Yeah, definitely. And like for me, I never got this car for any other reason than my personal self. Like I couldn't, it wouldn't have changed my feelings, my thoughts, my emotions, and my sense of reward about the car if the entire universe hated. This was
Yeah.
for me. This is something that I wanted to achieve. And I wanted to prove to myself that, hey, when I left high school, I wrote in 2010, when I left high school, I wrote that a 15-year vision that I'm going to get a Lamborghini before the time I'm 30. And this is something that, again, is such a personal thing. And most don't even know that I got into mechanical engineering because I wanted to design cars. Like, this is
Yeah.
something that's personal, but your why is so important, because there's going to be so many days where you feel drained and like it's not, worth it. But when you can revert back to something that's deeply rooted, that's going to always give you the momentum to push forward. And there's no better momentum than family. And knowing that, my family did everything they could for me to give me the support and the foundation, but we didn't necessarily have money. And knowing that I want to give my family the same, but the flexibility to kind of do whatever they would like to do, that is a huge why. Being able to give back to my parents. And even along the way, I started doing little things related to my why, where 2 years ago at Christmas time, my dad would never buy himself anything because he wanted to support my sister and I. So he's a big road biker. So when I had $9,000 in my bank account, which is more than I ever had in my life, I went out and bought him a $3,500 carbon fiber road bike, the one he always dreamed of, because I wanted to give back to him. When I didn't even have the money to do it, I was always pushing towards showing my why, what this means to me. And because it's so passionate, you don't let that negativity phase you. You don't let people steer you off course. You stay true to the vision and the mission that you initially started with. And I think it's really important for agents that are dreaming big, which all of them should be, to have something that you can revert to. Otherwise, it is going to be a struggle for you to continue to build that momentum.
Absolutely. No, really well said, Mike. So, last question I have for you today for this show is, you had this vision, you're in high school, you're like, before I'm 30, I'm going to get a Lamborghini. Well, you're not 30 and you got that Lamborghini. So, what's next? Do you set another goal? What happens next?
Definitely. The goals never change, and they continue to, well, I guess I should say the goals are always evolving, in the sense that I've got bigger goals now. I sat down with my business partner, ironically, yesterday, and we talked about bigger goals, bigger visions. And it's not that I'm not happy. I am over the moon. If you talk to anybody that's personal in my life, they will tell you I am right now the happiest person I could ever be, because in the last year, I've achieved every goal that I've ever had. I am moving into the highest penthouse in my city next Wednesday. I got my dream car. I've got my dream watch on order. I have the flexibility to travel. I can provide for my girlfriend and my family. I've got everything I could dream for. But for me, and I think this is really important for people to understand, it's important to have a dream of fulfilling your potential. And I don't feel like my potential has even started to be tapped. So for me, it's not necessarily a certain monetary goal. It's not necessarily adding more cars or bigger houses or anything like that. It's, I want to make an impact that's a direct correlation and a reflection of me achieving my personal potential. And that's why I do not compare myself to anybody else. I don't care if somebody else has a better car, a nicer house, more money in their bank. It does not faze me. I am here on this entrepreneurial journey to achieve what I at one day will believe is my potential, which is 20, 30 years down the road. So I'm just getting started. And I think it's really important to continue to evolve those goals to be a reflection of new standards. Because if you achieve something and then you now settle for that, you're going to break the momentum. And I've got this trajectory that I just don't want to phase. So for now, as we've seen, with EXP over the last year, it's been an absolute blessing to me. And I built one of the fastest growing groups in the history of the company. I just want to continue to build, because for me, honestly, at the end of the day, when I get these messages from people saying, Mike, you've changed my life, you've changed your business, I'm now achieving my goals, that is a reward to me. But what you'll see is those messages are a reflection that will come back in the monetary sense of things. So for me, it's all about impact and achieving my personal potential.
Well, Mike, if there's one thing I know, it's that I am excited to follow your career and your journey. You're off to a hell of a start. And I hope that people watching right now are really listening. And I hope that people who see a purple Lamborghini on this thumbnail, right, aren't turned off by it, because that's not what this is about. Um, and I think it's so easy, like you said, especially in social media land, to pass judgment on people and to look at this. But I know you well enough to know that your why lives way deep down inside and it's motivated by a lot of other things. And I like what you said, Mike, which is it's really about achieving our maximum potential. It's about being the best that we can be. And doing some magical things with that along the way. Mike, is there anything I missed on this topic that you want to cover before we wrap for the day?
The biggest thing I want to say, guys, is again, don't fall victim to comparison. Comparison is the death of joy. And if you're constantly comparing yourself to, oh my God, this agent got a listing, why didn't I? This person sold a property, why didn't I? If you're always comparing yourself to other people, you're never going to be happy or fulfilled, which is why I compare myself to who I was yesterday. And as cheesy as that sounds, all I'm trying to do is make myself better on a daily basis, better with friendships, better with relationships, better with business. And I think on this journey, I've learned firsthand that it's also really easy to let other parts of your life fall apart. And what you'll see is that no amount of money, no amount of objects, cars, anything can fix broken relationships, faltered friendships, and a bad relationship with your family. So if you are successful in one area of life, but the rest is in shambles, you will not be happy no matter how much you make. So I'm very blessed to feel like I'm in a point where now I'm able to build up every aspect of it. And that's really important for you to learn is it's not that you need to have balance in terms of 50% life, 50% business. It's always going to be an ever-changing recipe of different, things going on. But you need to not let the rest of your life falter, because that will ultimately lead you to achieving your goals, but not feeling happy. The last thing that I want to say is done is better than perfect. The only reason why I'm here today and some people aren't who started when I did is that they're always chasing perfection. They're always chasing, this idealistic view of what their business should be instead of taking action. And what you'll see is anybody that I've seen that is consistent takes action, fine tunes over time, focuses on consistency, and continuously executes to a plan with KPIs that are achievable that will lead them to their goal. So if you follow that and you always remember that done is better than perfect, a video or an ad that's out there working for your business is going to do a heck of a lot more than the same thing sitting in Google Drive or Dropbox. So take action, be consistent, have goals, see it, feel it, touch it, and make sure that you never fall off course.
Mike, that's really well said. Thank you so much for coming on today for, celebrating is how I would put it, with me, with us, right? This sort of culmination of this first phase of your dream. And like I said, I'm really excited to continue to follow your career and what you're doing. It's amazing.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. This is just the beginning. And with the support of people like you guys, I can't wait to see where we go.
Amen. Well said. All right, Mike, we'll talk to you again real soon. Thanks so much.
Take care.
All right, well, there you have it. Mike Sherrard back on the show. Again, all the links are below. I'll try to get a link to that video that he mentioned that was inspirational to him. I think it's a really great message here, right? And I think, the subtext of this message is deeply understand what your why is and how you manifest that why, whatever that may be. That's a personal decision. That's about you, but it's really about achieving your potential, fulfilling your potential. And I love the idea because I think that oftentimes we miss this, and I see agents miss this all the time, which is when he talked about, perfection is the enemy of progress. It's the enemy of, good is the enemy. I forget the saying, however it goes. It doesn't matter, but his point is like, you got to get something out there. And as he said, you have to have KPIs. You have to measure these things and you have to iterate on them. You can't just put something out there half-assed and then not do anything about it. You need to continue to learn from it, measure it, make progress, and go forward. But I hope you all learned something from Mike today. I'm sure that you did in terms of having this vision. And it can be as stark and as strong as a purple Lamborghini, or it can be whatever is meaningful to you that helps you push forward. But that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Till tomorrow, be safe, be healthy, be happy. We'll see you soon. Bye.